Hello there. We're out at Taum, Sauk for 4 days and 3 nights at the end of winter. I'm looking forward to a nice leisurely hike to welcome in spring. We've had enough rain recently to where the streams should be flowing and the leaves are just beginning to bud, so we should be able to get all those scenic views this area has to offer. So I've been on the side of this mountain for a couple hours, I guess, and at the last creek crossing there was a fairly good campsite actually, but it seemed too early, and I should have taken a look at the map because I forgot that we have a long stretch on steep mountainsides before we get to level ground again. I may end up having to cowboy camp on the trail, which is way less than ideal, but it kind of looks, here, let me get around this tree and show you guys kind of why I think this is less than ideal sleeping conditions. Here's what's ahead of me. It's been like that for a while. So this is really pretty looking across the valley. Wind in the pines is nice. Hopefully you can see the sun glinting off the water in the stream at the bottom of the valley. We're heading downhill, and hopefully that means there will be a camp spot somewhere down there by the water. It's about an hour from dark, so it's time to find one. We're pretty close to the stream. Alright, so there's the stream. Looks tricky to get to. There's the trail, and there's the campsite. It's 5:30. I'm gonna call it. Okay, so I'm not happy with this pitch. The angle, I don't know. I think I'd be rolling this way and this way all night. And I'd rather just roll in one direction if I have to. But this is one thing I love about a freestanding tent versus a trekking pole tent, is I can pitch it and move it wherever I want to before I stake it down. course, there's no guarantee the ground sheet's going to go with it, the footprint, but that's easy to fix. And yeah, that way I'm only just sliding straight downhill instead of all over. All right, this is a two-man tent and it's got 2 doors. And I went ahead and put the fly on it. I was thinking about just leaving it off, but it's really windy and it's really starting to get cold right now. I checked the weather and we're only down to, I think, around 40, 41. So not super cold tonight, but it's just chilly down here with this breeze. So I'm gonna get everything in the tent, get it set up. Then I think make some dinner and sit on this log, get some extra clothes on. It's so windy, having to heat the water up in the vestibule area so the tent can block the wind. Tonight's dinner, beef chili mac. I'm looking forward to this. We're sun's below the ridge, so we're within 20-30 minutes of being totally dark. A couple of guys, my father-son, came through camp about 15 minutes ago, and I tried to convince them to pitch camp here, but I think they wanted some privacy. I don't think I'm a scary looking dude, but I don't know. So they went ahead and continued on towards Johnson Shut-In. So I hope they have good luck finding a camp tonight. All right, it's right around 7:30 and it's windy, and even though it doesn't look it on the camera, it's pretty dark, and I've really got no reason to stay up after it gets dark anyway. I've got nothing to do and I'd like to get out of the wind and warm up a little bit anyway, so I'll say goodnight now. See you in the morning. Good morning. Coffee was delicious. Breakfast is hydrating. Sausage and eggs with goat cheese, fresh sage and black pepper. This sounds really good. Plus, Jackie, this is gluten-free, so put that on your list. All right, so I'm looking at the map, trying to figure out where I am on the trail. That's always a good idea to know. My best guess is that I'm in the valley between Catcher-Side and Prophet Mountains. There's by the Devil's Tollgate is Sauk Creek, and then the only like low access point we've got on the trail until you get to the scour is here, where I'm assuming is the valley between Catcher-Side and Prophet. And so I'm gonna need to, once I eat breakfast, pack up, grab water from the creek right here, because I won't, according to the map, have water access again until I get to the scour, which I don't know how many miles that is. Assuming I'm in the right place, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 5 miles. So that's not really that bad. And then we'll probably go on past there. Now that's where I lost the trail last summer, was at the scour, and I couldn't pick it up. I'm hoping to find it now that it's winter and I could see like blazes better. And I'd like to at least get to the Black River today. We'll see how it goes. Late start on the trail this morning. I decided I'm going to wait till I get to the scour for water. I've got enough to get there, and it's really good water there at the scour. So, here we go. Yeah, we're definitely heading up Prophet Mountain now. Boy, I must be one slow hiker. I remember that 9-mile marker from yesterday. That seems like it was really far away, and I don't know, such a long time ago. Tell you, if I didn't already have a trail name, I think it'd have to be Turtle. This is a great camp spot. Got a really nice fire ring, 2 stone seats, and a really level spot to pitch your tent. In fact, you could pitch a couple of tents here. I wonder if I can make it back to this spot tonight. My goal is to make it to the Black River. The ranger said it's flooded and not crossable right now, so we'll have to turn around and come back once we hit the Black River. But I don't know if I can make it back here tonight. What a cool place to camp. Plus, I've got this amazing view. I remember taking a break at this place last year. Love the view. It means I've still got a long ways to go just to get to the Scour. Maybe it's going to take me 2 days to do what I did in 1 day last year. Yeah, my best guess, we're about 5 miles from the Scour and 8 from the Black River. It's about 11:30. Probably not going to make it. We'll see. Man, I'm going so slow. I don't know what the deal is. Hi, so the 2 gentlemen walking away from me now are father and son duo, Stephen and Ian. They're out here from North Dakota, and they're pretty much doing the same thing I'm doing. They're going to hike. We just talked, and they're going to probably turn around at the Scour and then start heading back to the car. We've been kind of passing each other the whole day today and last night. They came into my camp and decided that they were going to go to the next one, which really was close. It was just on the other side of the stream from where I was, so that worked out well. But I'm kind of wondering if I may do the same thing and turn around at the Scour and then head back to the car, just because I want to dodge those thunderstorms Sunday afternoon. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. One of the advantages of hiking in winter is how much more you can see. When I was here last year, I couldn't tell this because of the leaves, but on the opposite side of the valley is the power lines that we were under a while ago. Then we made this really long U. Now we're back on the other side of the valley, and directly behind me is the reservoir. So, and then there's that gorgeous view out there. It's pretty cool. That's so funny. I don't know what time it was when I saw that 7-mile sign. I'm going to guess 9. Let's say 9. Now it's 1:15. So I've gone 3 miles in 4 hours, or a little more than 4 hours. Yeah. This has got to be my slowest time ever on a trail, on any trail. I guess I'm just, just chillaxing, walking along here, sauntering. Actually, this was my objective last year. Just didn't work out with no water. So I'm really enjoying it. I just didn't realize that I was going to be that slow. Okay. It's, I think about 1:45. 1:45. So about 30 minutes since we saw that 4-mile sign to Johnson shut in. Got quite a ways to go till we get to the 3-mile one still. So I'm guesstimating my pace. I guesstimate everything. And my pace is probably 3/4 mile an hour, something like that. Which I don't think I've ever gone that slow on a hike. And I know I was kind of, making it a leisurely hike, but it's unrealistic to expect to get anywhere at that pace. So I just saw Stefan. He was reclining across a rock, reading a book, and not too far back. And Ian left his pack, and he just grabbed a water bottle, and he's running ahead to see the Scour, and then he's going to come back, and they're going to go back towards Sauk, find a spot for the night to camp. Stefan's pretty worn out, pretty done. And after talking to him, I realized, so am I. And it's early in the afternoon. This pack is almost twice the weight of what I carried last summer. I mean, it's winter, so I've got more clothes. I've got a much bigger, heavier tent than I had then. More food, but still, it's 35 pounds, this pack is, which is a ridiculous amount of weight to carry on a trail like this. And I think that's what it is. It's not that I'm really relaxing and enjoying it, because I'm not. My head's down and I'm just pushing on through. I realized I've hardly even looked around to see in the last 4 hours to see if there's anything I want to film. Every once in a while something grabs my attention, but mostly I'm just got my head down and I'm plowing ahead. And I think it's just because I am worn out. Well, it's warm. And I am worn out by the weight of this pack. Sometimes I think it's good for me to get out on a hard trail and carry a heavy pack, so I realized the true value of not carrying a heavy pack. I used to be, and Jackie's this way a lot still, just used to think that, oh, well, you're just weak and you need to be stronger, but that's not true. That's not true. Consistently carrying more weight throughout a long day will wear you out more than carrying a lightweight. Anybody, no matter what their condition is. I'm not saying my condition's that great. So I'm sitting here thinking about, if I go all the way to the scour, and I won't make it back to this point probably before dark, because we're gonna have to call that roughly 7 miles back to there and back, which would be more than 7 hours, and it's almost 2 o'clock. So yeah, I don't even have close to that kind of daylight. So if you don't mind, I'm going to think about this out loud a little bit. So if I turned around now, I've got about 5 hours till I'm going to have to find a campsite and pitch camp. That's like pushing the envelope. 5 hours ago, yeah, you know what? I would be within an hour of where I camped last night. Yeah, I might just do that. And there are several water sources, but I've got to get really close to where I camped last night to get water. In between here and there, there's 1 or 2 puddles. That's it. No streams. Okay. You know what? I'm going to turn around while I'm going to rest. And then I'm going to turn around and head back. I think I'm going to do that. Probably still won't get out of here till Sunday, because I'm tuckered out and I'm not going fast. Probably won't go fast tomorrow either. But since I'm going back the way I came, I'll just show you the highlights instead of just filming a walk in the woods. All right, talk to you later. Well, I just spent an hour talking with Stefan, and so I'm really glad I turned around when I did, because obviously I'm still at a leisurely pace, but I am hoping to make it to water when I find camp tonight, and that's a long way between here and there, so we'll see how it goes. How funny. I don't know how I missed this the first time going by. So that means I'm a little over a mile from where I camped. That can't be right. I might make it back there today. So Jackie's able to tell, like, look at a map on the Zoleo app on her phone and tell where I am real time and see like where water is and stuff like that, which is so funny because I actually have the Zoleo device on my pack and I can't tell any of that on my phone with the app. I don't get it. Anyway, long story short, Jackie's my navigator when I'm out on trips using the Zoleo, and I've got 2 miles to water. So that's good news. Should be able to make that. It's about 4:15, 4:20. I should be able to make that with plenty of light because I don't have enough water to dry camp. And I was going to have to keep going until I found some water. I'm not out. I just don't really have enough for tonight and in the morning. I had to stop and get some electrolytes. I'm down to just over a liter water. But Jackie assures me I'm not that far away from water, which is nice to know. It's 5:20. So, I mean, at the most, I could probably still see enough to get some stuff done around camp in 2 hours. I forgot to show you guys this earlier. I was kicking back, leaning back on a big rock, had my pack off over here, snacking, had my drink, and finished that. And I went to put my pack on, and I noticed something sort of glitter on the back of this big rock, a couple of feet behind my pack. And so I picked it up, and it's this polished rock that's got this gold toad, or frog, I mean, on it. And that is really cool. Who knows how long it's been there, who put it there. I never would have seen it because it was kind of like on the back side of the boulder. I never would have seen it if it wouldn't have been for having set my pack down in that vicinity. So I thought that was really cool. Take that home. One of the granddaughters will grab that from me, I'm sure. There it is, Jackie. The stream you told me about. Really pretty too. What a beautiful stream. Water is crystal clear. I love these Ozark streams. So I'm going to filter about 3 liters of water. I brought the Grail this time. It's a little bit faster than the Sawyer. That's heavier too. So I made it, yesterday I went in a creek twice, up to my knees, both times. But by the time I got to camp, my shoes and socks were mostly dry, and this morning they were totally dry when I went to put them on. So I'm thinking at this point, I'm not that far from camp, and I made it the whole day with dry shoes until I crossed the creek to set up the camera. They're not dry anymore, my feet are wet, but that's okay. They'll dry out again overnight, and once it gets dark and cold, I'm going to be probably going to bed anyway. Okay, so here's where Stefan and Ian spent the night last night, and their goal is to make it back here tonight. I really hope they're successful. So you've got a pretty big fire ring, a really big one. Really good tent spot there, and a really good tent spot here. And they're both on top of moss. It looks nice and cushy. Then just across the trail is the stream. We're just a little farther. It's the same stream I got water from, a little bit farther down. That's a pretty waterfall. And then we're going to go down stream a ways and then cross it. And I don't know how far it is to my camp, but it's really not that far from here where I camped last night. That's where I'm camping again tonight. I'm not going to take the time to get my telephoto out, but I wanted to show you some of the spring ephemerals are coming out now. They're quite pretty. So those are the first of the spring flowers, and red buds aren't in bloom yet, and of course neither are the dogwoods, or some of the earlier ones. Jackie's favorite, phlox. Haven't seen any of that yet either, still too early. Okay, here's that stream, and we're gonna go ahead and cross this, and then I don't think I'm too far from camp. How pretty is that? Well, here we are at camp, and I already know where I'm pitching my tent. Oh, and look, here's a rock to pound the steaks in with. Oh, it's like somebody recently camped here. Late dinner for me anyway, about 7:15. Sun's behind the ridge, and it's cold. It's funny, this time of year, shivering at night and sweating in the day. I think this is my last one of these beef stroganoffs. I love this meal. I'm gonna have to check when I get home, and if it's the last one, I need some more. So I'm gonna go ahead. By the time I finish dinner, it'll be dark, and I'll just go to bed. I know it's early, but some people kind of like, I think they watch movies or read, on a tablet or something like that. And I just don't have any of that stuff out here on this trip. And I really don't like that in the woods. I kind of like just being here, I guess. So I'll say goodnight. See you in the morning. Best guess, I'm about roughly 6 miles from the car. So I'll wrap it up tomorrow. A day shorter than I expected, but missed the bad weather that way too. Plus, I could use a shower. Good night. Morning. Boy, it's a chilly one this morning. I don't know what the temperature is, but it's cold. Drinking some coffee. Helps warm the hands up. Waiting for my strawberry granola to hydrate. It's a beautiful morning out here. Had a bird in this tree right outside my tent wake me up this morning. The shad bush is just starting to bloom. Shad bush is definitely one of the earliest bloomers in the spring, an early sign of spring. So we're here a little bit early for flowers. Of course, it's still not officially spring for like a week. But it's beautiful, beautiful place to be. I like this mossy area all around this camp too. It's a nice, cozy camp. All right, I'm about to head out. I was able to pinpoint this spot fairly accurately on the map based on the contour lines and the location of the stream. And we're about 5.5 miles from the car, which normally I wouldn't really be concerned about at all. I mean, that's not anything, but on this trail it is. So that means based on the time I've been doing, I'm probably at least 6 hours from the car. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, it's a late start again. It is, oh, it's a real late start, 8:45. You know what? 5.5 miles to the car and then home. Sounds nice to me. So I'll just show you the highlights again, and since we're kind of going back the way we came, and let's get going. It's so neat what you can see this time of year. I'm still on countryside, and then we got this big valley, and that one peak, if you can see it through the trees straight ahead, should be Taum. So we're really only a half mile into it so far. We've got quite a ways to go. It's so nice to see water out here. Look at this jut out of rock over the valley. You never see that except in the winter. So one advantage to not being on a strict timeline on a hike, or being pressured to be somewhere at a certain time or make a certain number of miles, is that I could go explore off trail whenever I want to. Like yesterday when I found those two really neat campsites at the upper edge of a glade. I thought the fire rings were rock cairns, and then when I got there I found out they were campsites. So now I'm on this little rock jut out over the valley. I'd never have a view from here when the leaves are out. Right now, this is really cool. Let me show you. This lichen's nice. All right, so we got a small stream with a couple of little waterfalls coming down here. Probably not going to show up on the camera. And then this expansive valley. And Sauk's way out there somewhere. I can't see it right now. So my shoes and socks really are just about dry from that dunking I took last night. And if I remember right, when I crossed this a couple of days ago, it was up here by this tree because I walked a couple of steps in that tree route to get to the rocks and then came across. This is the actual trail crossing. But I don't see a good way to make it without walking in the water. So let's go back up to this tree and see if we could do that. Yeah, this is where I crossed a couple of days ago. I went out on these rocks right here, and as you can see, I mean, some of these are kind of a stretch, but I made it all the way to that tree root, and then I walked that tree root close to the shore on the other side and went on the rocks. I'm not going to film that this time because that requires me crossing this creek 3 times, and I filmed it the other day, so you've seen it. What a beautiful morning. Slightly breezy, gorgeous sunshine. I'm down to my t-shirt now and just enjoying it. Feels like spring. I mean, well, spring's here, basically, I guess you could say. It's a beautiful morning. I'm kind of glad I'm ending this on Saturday instead of Sunday, just because I've got this nice, right now I'm on a nice, like, old road that a lot of side-by-sides and stuff still used today. And it's easy walking on dirt, which is rare to find out here. Enjoying the spring morning. This way I'll get back in time to have part of the weekend with Jackie at home before going back to work. And that's really nice. I hate getting home late on a Sunday and then just enough time to clean up, sleep, and go to work. And it feels like you never really had a break. This way I get one. Let me show you what I'm walking in right now. It's beautiful. All right, we're here. The crossing that got me twice a couple of days ago. So, I'm not going to film crossing it because I want to cross it 3 times. But I will have the camera on in case I go in. That way we can all enjoy the laugh, right? This is the rock that got me. No, it isn't. Well, yeah, it is. Oh, man. Okay. The angles on this rock are killer. Oh, not bad, not bad. I made it. Why couldn't it have gone like that the other day? Look at that huge camp. Wow. So I passed this group going opposite directions earlier. Maybe about half dozen adults. I don't know how many boys. It was a lot. Big group. They're just out, this is their base camp, and they're out for a day hike. What fun. So I just passed another huge encampment just before Minnesauk Falls, and it's about a dozen young guys, and it's 11 roughly. They already probably spent the night there, and they're just camping. Had a fire going, beer's out already. They're having a good time. About a dozen of them. That would be a blast, as long as they had good food. Hard to tell with the trees, but up there is the base of the falls. Now begins that steep, long climb all the way to the top through those boulders. All right, well, I was hoping to say goodbye from Missouri's high point, but it's a Saturday, and I don't know if you can see, but the parking lot is totally full, and there are people everywhere. I've never seen it this crowded out here, so I'll go ahead to say goodbye. It took me only 3.5 hours to get to the car, which is really surprising to me. I think I was motivated to get that pack off and sit down for a while. Thanks for coming along. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.